Hello, good afternoon. I have returned. My name is Rob. I am that developer dad. And we picked up the pieces from my deviation from the plan that we took yesterday afternoon that ended up in disaster. And luckily, we did all of that on a feature branch that we blew away this morning up in GitHub, and we reverted back to the main branch on the local machine, and everything's all better. Excuse me. We started working through creating tag pages for the blog posts on the site, and we left off right here where I left the tutorial page. Gotta switch to the screen share. Ha! And this is where we're going to pick up. It says our pages are now defined statically in tag.astro. If we add a new tag to a blog post, we have to revisit this page and update the page routes. And that sucks. That's boring. And we like to automate the boring stuff. The following example shows how to replace your code on this page with code that will automatically look for and generate pages for each tag used on your blog pages. I like that. So we got to check to make sure all our blog posts contain tags. Let's hide the source control. Post 1, there's some tags. Post 2 has tags. Post 3, Astro blogging, learning in public. Session stand up. We've got stuff here. All right. Let's go ahead and update this. June 26th. Afternoon session. This morning we returned to following the plan, deleted all evidence of our having deviated from it, thereby cleaning up all that damage. Build a tag page, but in so doing, added more manual steps that we'd have to take when adding new blog articles. This afternoon, we will work on automating the process of building out those tag pages. And let's flip over to single quotes up here, just for consistency's sake. I know somebody once tried to tell me that consistency is for the weak-minded, but he obviously wasn't a software developer. Because, boy howdy, do we want consistency. Session Scrum Notes. Here's our updates. Right here is where we can spot those. And let's carry on. So all our blog posts contain tags. We just verified that. Do I have all of them open? No, we don't. I sent them away. That's okay. Create an array. Revisit each of your existing markdown pages and ensure that OK contains a tags array in its front matter. Even if you only have one tag, it should still be written as an array. For example, tags blogging. Okay. Let's make sure we've got that. Just absolutely certain. Because I have a feeling that things will crash if we don't. Tags. Tags. We're good. Create an array of all of your existing tags. Add the following code to provide you with a list of every tag used in your blog posts. Cool, let's do that. And this is up in square brackets tag.astro. Let us do that. We'll copy. And then once I paste it in, we'll talk through it. Where does this need to go in our page structure? Looks like it needs to go inside our get static paths. That makes sense. Paste that here and give it a semicolon. We got an incomplete copy. That's okay. We'll come over here, slide this all the way, grab everything, copy it, repaste. That's better. Okay, so what are we doing here? We are defining a constant variable. And since we're inside a function, we don't have to, or we're not going to add this underscore, because any of the variables that are inside these curly braces here only exist while the code is executing inside those curly braces. So this is a locally scoped variable called unique tags, and it is an array that has a really bizarre implicit constructor. I don't know what those three dots do. The JavaScript expert would be able to explain those to you. I am not a JavaScript expert. So we're creating a new set from the all posts that we pulled up here in this line on line 6 via the Astro API's glob method. We're mapping, which again is just for each element in the all posts array. We are going to execute the highlighted code here. As we iterate through the array, we're going to assign the item, the array element that we are currently on, to this locally scoped variable called post, and pass this into this implied anonymous method here. And we are going to say post.frontmatter.tags.flat. Flat, I believe, just creates an array for us. Oh, wait. Here's our scope. So for each post, we're going to access the array of tags that are in the post's front matter. And we are going to add those, or we're going to flatten it and turn it into one long array. So as we iterate, we're going to collect the tags from the post and just add those to the array that we're building, assigning that new array to the value unique tags. Now, I don't see any explicit call to like a make it distinct or anything like that, like we would have in C# or .NET. Using LINQ, we would go through an array and we would be able to call .distinct and assign the result of that distinct function call to a unique collection. But I don't see anything like that here. It may be implicit. It may be somewhere in this JavaScript magic that we're dealing with. let's go back to the documentation and find out. Tell me what this line of code is doing in more detail. All right, goes through each markdown post. Like we said, one by one combines each array of tags into one larger array. Then it makes a new set from all the individual tags. That's obviously this bit, so that we can ignore repeated values. And finally, it turns that set into an array with no duplications that we can use to show a list of the tags on our page. Okay, so obviously the distinct bit must be part of this flat method that we're dealing with. We now have an array of unique tags with element items, all of the things that are in the tags in our post files. And let's replace the return value of the getStaticPaths function. Okay, so we're going to get rid of this manual construction of this JSON array. And we're going to do some mapping. And again, just to keep me from mistyping things and struggling and so on and so forth, let's just paste and explain. We are going to be, and this is doing an implicit return statement. I'm not a big fan of those. Let's do this. Const site tags equals, and then we'll come down here and return site tags. I like that a little better. So filtered posts equals all posts dot filter post blah blah blah. Looks like we're doing something very similar to what's going on down here when we're assigning underscore filtered posts. I think I screwed something up. Let's go look at the instructions. Okay. Replace the return value of the getStaticPaths function. Okay, no, we're in the right place. Okay. Now, do we need to untype never? Something silly's going on here. Return filtered posts. I thought I was being clever, but I was not. Markdown instance, record string any. Return filtered posts. There's obviously more going on in here than I thought. We're going to comment that. We're going to flip this back to return. Still don't like what it's doing here. This is really goofy. Replace the return value of the getStaticPaths function. So here's that hard-coded stuff we had before. And here's this. Let's copy it again. Oh, jeepers. Okay. Paste. Lol. Return that. Okay, that's a single line, and that means this guy needs to... Oh, come on. All right. This looks like it is probably superfluous. I think something got all goofed up in here. Just horrifyingly goofed up. Let's go back here and come up here, grab what we're going to do. Oh, no, we've got this. Astro. Close. Don't save. All right. Excuse me. We have just reset this source file. Let's start over rather than scratching our heads and wondering what the heck is going on. Copy. Paste this here. Good. We got that. Next step, we're going to grab this. Copy that because these guys are already over in somewhere. I better grab them. I've got some serious trust issues here. But let's rip that out. Go over here. Come in here. All right. Save that. Okay. Get static function should always return a list of objects containing params. There's some funky looking stuff going on over in that over in our file. Now, the list of all blog posts is filtered before it is sent to each page as props. Be sure to remove the previous line of code filtering the posts and update your HTML to use posts instead of filtered posts. Okay. Follow the tutorial, Rob. Posts.map. And because we are dealing with this, let's go ahead and can we rename the symbol? We can. Give it an underscore because it's module level. Not quite what I wanted to do. Oh, you dope. Ha! Undo all that stuff. Const underscore tag. Underscore tag. Or underscore posts. Here we go. Underscore posts. Whoops, only one underscore. Save that. Okay, so we can use this up here, fine, because it's referring to an element in our unique tags array. All right, good. Let's save. Go back to the tutorial. And let's just make sure it doesn't, we're not looking completely insane down here or completely out to lunch. Pull this over here. Okay, we're importing blog post base layout. I'm trying to figure out what the most appropriate order of imports should be. It probably doesn't matter, but I feel like if we come up with a consistent strategy for which order we're importing layouts, blog posts, all the different assets we'll need in a page or a component or what have you. If we create a consistent guideline that we can ourselves follow when laying these things out, it'll really help us down the road as we try to reason about the work that we're doing. Let's save this. All right. Underscore tag, underscore posts. This is coming in from either the query string in the browser URL, or if we were building a component, it would be in the element attributes that we assign and pass on the page that's installing this particular component. Posts comes from astro.props, wherever those must be getting assigned or calculated implicitly up here in the get static paths. That's the only place I can think of that would be creating that array. And then all of this stuff looks about the same as it did, with the exception of changing the name of the variable we're referencing down here in our HTML. Now we should be able to visit any of your tag pages in your browser preview. All right, well, everything's saved. Good. Let's do some science. Let's grab one that we haven't tried to visit yet. Let's try to visit Astro tags blogging, or localhost tags blogging. An error occurred. Cannot read properties of undefined reading map. Where does it like the map? We obviously goofed something up. Dot filter post, blah, blah, blah. Return posts dot map. Text tag Astro. Does the rest of the site still work? Not there. Let's just come out to 4321. Okay, there's that. Home, articles, about, articles, session scrum notes. Good. Is this still broken? It's broken. Okay, so something exploded. 2513, line 25. Okay, underscore posts dot map. New Astro component intro, blah, 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 module create, render, tags. Component is template, result, or response. Astro 1.1. Posts.map post. Properties of undefined reading map. So it looks to me like this is having some trouble reading that. It might be something as simple as that. And if that's the case, I'm going to be grouchy. We best revert this to. We're dealing with framework level variables and stuff like that. It may not like us trying to give them names that are off the framework's convention. And it worked. Okay, so here's learning in public. Let's see about blogging. Look at this. That's pretty handy. All right, so we got that figured out, and we learned that if we're assigning constant values to tag and posts and stuff like that, and they're coming out of astroparams, astroprops, this get static paths type method, if we're dealing with framework level sources for some of the variables we're using, we really need to just stick with what the framework tells us we should use instead of, trying to change things around. Okay. That's actually a decent general rule of thumb. What is next? Now we should be able to visit any of your tag pages in your browser preview, and you should see a list of only your blog posts with the tag community. Yeah, that's assuming we use community. Similarly, learning in public. In the next session, we will create navigation links to these pages. Okay, neat. A function that returns an array of page routes. That's get static paths. Let's do the quiz just to make sure we absorb this stuff. Excuse me. The process of creating multiple page routes from one file in Astro is dynamic routing. Yes. A value that defines the name of a page route generated dynamically is, I believe, props. Oh, let's try. Is it params? It's params. Okay, there we go. Now, there's something I don't really like about this so far. Yes, I can generate pages dynamically. I can pass props to each page route. That's fine. If I come over here, I know that I don't have any tags that say pizza. And if I try to execute this, I'm going to get a big ugly error page. Kabam! Not found, tags pizza. I'm not a big fan of the AstroJS 404 not found thing. Although I'm sure we'll get into customizing error pages and stuff like that at some point. I'm not going to jump ahead again. I'm not going to deviate from the plan. The tech dad says, Rob! And I say to the tech dad, who followed me like 2 hours ago, how's it going, the tech dad? Can I reply right here? Oh, I can. Click to reply. Hey there. Hooray for stream engagement. Okay, so we got our 404 not found. We're probably going to learn how to resolve those things and customize them a little bit better later on. Let's go back to blogging, just so that we can see something show up and not have a big ugly error message. Dynamic page routing, that's cool. I now have some code that I can come back to and refer to when I need to do this again. And then, of course, there's API documentation for get static paths. That's for future study. Build a tag index page. Add a new page using the pages folder index.astro routing pattern. Display a list of all your unique tags linking to each tag page. Update your site with navigation links to this new, oh, this looks good. This will absolutely help out with SEO and with getting, say, maybe an AI web crawler to rip through my website and ingest it and use it for retrieval augmented generation and all that good stuff. I had a really cool chat with Copilot a couple of weeks ago where I asked, do things like single page applications and dynamically generated pages and so on mess with an LLM's ability to retrieve and understand the content? And the answer was yes. And that's actually another good reason for me to be using a static page creator, because all this JavaScript and all this code and all this goo, when I run the build process, AstroJS's purpose is to take all of these instructions that we're giving it and create a static website from it. And then we deploy just the static website with hopefully plain vanilla HTML, CSS, and relatively vanilla JavaScript. I expect they bring in some libraries and stuff like that to make it a little bit easier. But as far as robot capabilities and page crawlers and stuff like that goes, this is having a static website that's generated on the server that a scripted web crawler can just say, give me all the links, visit all the links, grab all the content, stuff it all into my keywords database. Having a static site like this actually assists with automated processes out on the internet, finding and indexing your content, which makes it easier for you to show up in search engine results. It makes it easier for large language models and RAG workflows that use AI to get to the content that you want them to summarize or tell you about, stuff like that. All kinds of benefits to not getting too fancy with an informational website. All right, rant over. Let's get back to our study. And to add a tag index to your website, we could create a new file at blah blah blah. But since we already have the directory tags, we can take advantage of another routing pattern in Astro and keep all the files related to tags together. This feels really, really familiar to the concept of namespaces in .NET. I think Java's got the same concept. I don't know if they're called namespaces or not. I could be mistaken. I do remember reading about namespaces when I read the first couple of pages of the Objective-C handbook 15 years ago. But namespaces are a way of breaking up a complex project or group of code files into logical separations. And since we already have our tags namespace and we're going to be working more with these tags, why not put the components that deal with tags in that existing namespace? That makes perfect sense. So let's create a new index.astro file in the tags folder. I like it. Let's do it. Pages. Where is the tags folder? Source, components, pages, tags. Here we go. And they were calling for index? Yes. New file. Index.astro. Boom. Let's add the fences for the front matter because we are probably going to want our base layout. Over here. Okay. And let's actually grab my main index.astro. Let's say we'll define a variable here called page title. And I'm going to come down here. We'll make that the last thing, page title. Article tag index. Cool. All right. We deviated from the tutorial just a teeny bit, but that's okay. And let's navigate to localhost 4321 tags and make sure that we now have a page at this URL. It'll be empty, but it will exist. Okay, got that. Come up here. Localhost. We'll just take the routing off of the end of that. And there it is. It's completely empty. That's okay. Base. Ace. Base. Layout. And page title equals. Some stuff will go here real soon. I just like to have something to look at and make sure some stuff will go here real soon. That developerdad.com -article index. And cool. All right. This lack of styling and floating footers and stuff like that's really starting to get to me. But we're not going to divert from the plan. I learned my lesson. Not going to do it again. And back to the tutorial. Create a minimal page that uses your layout. You've done this before. We did it. Check your browser preview again. We should have a formatted page ready to add content to. Check, 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 check. Create an array of tags. Previously displayed items in a list from an array using map. What would it look like to define an array of all your tags and display them in a list on this page? I'm not going to struggle and mess around with all that stuff. Okay, so all they're doing is creating a hard-coded list here. We've got our page title, tag index. Yeah. Okay, cool. We could do this, but then we need to come back and fix it. It's always easier to do things approximately correctly or as close to right as possible the first time. And we know a way to grab the data from all your markdown files in one line of code, then return a list of all your tags. So in add the line of code to the front matter script that will give your page access to the data from every markdown blog post file. Let's just grab the code. Copy. Paste. Change its name so that it's got an underscore because we're not inside a function scope there. And we're not dealing with any of those wiggly brace Astro API variables. So it's not going to freak out about us renaming all posts to underscore all posts. And again, it's just running the glob method against our posts folder. Is that the correct URL? So we're in tags, up one level, and into posts. Okay, we're still good. Next, add the following line of JavaScript to your page component. Const tags equals set. So we're going to go ahead. Oh, goodness, what did I do? Ha! I can't use the bounce to the very end of the things. Okay, so this is just creating a flat array of all of our tags. Yep, a flat array of all of our distinct tags. We'll add this, paste it, and because we changed the name of the variable, and we're going to change the name of that variable, and there we go. Jump up in here, we'll create a list of tags. Instead of creating items in an unordered list this time, create one paragraph for each item inside of a div. The pattern should look familiar. Okay. So, let's do this. And I feel like they're going to have us incrementally expand how this works. And that's cool because we want to take our time and do it one step at a time, testing between each step. Here we go. Oh, that's interesting. We're not sorted here, but I feel like that's coming. All right, create one paragraph for each item inside a div, and that's fairly simple. We've got the HTML div. Inside here, we've got the for each, or the array.map, run a function on each array element, and then close the div. We can see that our tags are listed. To make each tag link to its own page, add the following anchor link to each tag name. Okay, let's do this. Just copy that. And instead of this, we'll paste this in here. Now, they had things in their source formatted a little bit better than it is here. Let's go back and take a look at how they formatted it. Here we go. So tags.map, open, okay, so we get a line break after the opening paren. There isn't an opening paren. Do we go here? And then drop it down here, like that. I also don't like that. Two tabs. So the only thing on this line here is this mostly normal HTML. And we see some backtick characters here. We're going to talk about those in a second. So let's come back over here and make sure our HTML code or our component code looks pretty okay. And it looks pretty all right. Now, if we zoom in here, and I wonder if we can do that. If we look at this very, very closely, we can see that the quotation marks here are not single quotes, nor are they double quotes, but rather, I'm going to open a new note here. I'm going to pull it in here, and let's paste. Here we go. Now, let's make this font way, way bigger so that we can see what's going on. So, that's a double quote. Let's make this part a title too. Double quote, single quote, backtick. That's the one that's on like the little wiggly line, the tilde key that lives above the tab key on most keyboards. And you don't need the shift space to get it. Get out of there, dot. So the backtick, I know in JavaScript, and there are a couple other languages that use the backtick to signal to the language parser that everything inside that backtick is essentially a string template, and that we can automatically incorporate variable values into that string template by using whatever type of interpolation glyphs are assigned for that language. So here, it's essentially saying, as we're building this string out, or as we're iterating over our list of tags, for each tag, generate a snippet of HTML like this. And of course, this is just vanilla HTML here. In here, they're using those the wiggly braces, the curly braces, whatever you want to call them, to say we're going to use some JavaScript. And they're actually nested. So here's set 1. And we've got those backticks that says we've got a string template. And your replacement code is right here. And then, of course, they're using the JSX replacement syntax again. I think it's JSX replacement syntax. But they're using those curly braces again to inject the value of tag into the actual anchor text. So that's pretty cool. It's very handy. But I noticed that they were using backticks there. And I know that kind of thing has tripped me up in the past. I wanted to call it out in larger text so that y'all could see it on the stream. So there we are. Our our rendering loop is now much tidier and easier to read. I quite like that. Let's see how much more there is to do. Add styles to your tag list. Add the following CSS classes to style both your div and each P that will be generated. We use HTML syntax for adding class names. Okay, So div class tag, p class tag. Let's do it. We're coming up on 2 o'clock. Div class equals tag. Tags, multiple tags. Class equals singular tag. Now those, excuse me, those styles are, or those CSS classes are not defined anywhere yet. But we did see define these new CSS classes by adding the following style tag to the page. Oh, and they're going to give us some ugly, ugly colors. But I'm not going to grump on them. Let's make sure the style tag. Okay, so the styles go down below base layout. All right. V. All right, that color isn't actually that ugly. Tag is the border. Background color is a slight off blue. So the colors aren't going to be pretty, but okay, that's fine. We've added the styles. We've defined our style classes just for this page. And again, anything that we define here inside the pages tags index.astro file, anything we do here only applies to elements that are found on this page. They're page scoped. If we wanted to have access to these things throughout the site, we would need to move this over to global.css. So we've done that. We've made sure the code looks reasonable. Yep, we approximately match. We're going to find out if it doesn't in a minute. And now we'll add this page to our navigation. Okay. Let's go out to navigation.astro. And what do they call this? Tags. Okay, I don't like that term for this page, but here's navigation. A href equals slash tags slash. Okay. Where is my cursor? Here it is. Slash we'll call it tags for now. I want to come up with about, you know what? I like topics. I like that much better. Just as far as naming. All right. Include tags in your blog post layout. Blah, blah, blah. You've now written all the code you need to display a list of tags on each blog post and link them to their tag pages. You have existing work that you can reuse. Follow the steps below, then check your work by comparing it to the final code sample. Copy the div class tags div and style from source pages tags index. Reuse it inside the markdown post layout. Let's go see what all this stuff looks like first, before we take a look at the challenge. Topics. Hey, look at that. That's neat. I don't like the way it's not sorted, though. That's kind of cool, though. I really, really quite like the way this is working. That's nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see what this challenge is talking about. Okay, copy that stuff, drop it into here. Div class tags. Tag, blah, blah, blah. Tags. Front matter. Okay. Doing all that stuff. One small edit. Okay, so looking up here, it's looking for a variable called tags. And I bet we need to change that variable from just saying tags to saying front matter dot tags. Let's see. Give me a hint. Yep. In order to use props, like tags, you need to prefix the value with a certain word, and it's front matter dot tags. We're almost to the end of our hour, and I do have some time constraints today, but I kind of like the idea of making this change. Let's copy this code. We've already written it, so I'm not going to talk through all the nonsense that I normally talk through. Let's open our layouts. Come into Markdown article layout. And this will go in just before slot in the base layout. Just before slot. Let's paste that there. It doesn't like tags, but that's okay. We'll go front matter dot tags. Happy, happy. And then I'm going to come down here and grab these styles. Bloop. Copy that. Paste it down here. Save this. Let's go see what that did for our articles. Let's come in here, the first blog post. Hey, look at this. I like that. Now, I'm not super in love with the styling here, and I'm not crazy in love with that image stuff, but you see here that we're only adding that image tag if there's an image defined in the front matter. Let's blow that front matter away. Save. Come down here. That's a little better. I'm not super crazy about the styling or the fact that if somebody clicks on these, we go bye-bye. Really not in love with that experience. But we can leave that alone. I do want to, in here, div class tags, front matter tags map, p class boogity boogity boo. All right, tags display flex, flex wrap wrap. I want to add topics. Save that. See if it did what we want. Here we go. Nyeh. Topics BR. We'll add a line break after topics. Nope, didn't like that. X. V, clear the empty line. That's a little better. And then, of course, we can squish up some of these styles. The margin 0.25 EM. Let's pull this down to 1.5 EM. Border radius, don't mind that. And I'm going to bring this down to 0.1 EM for top and bottom. Font size, let's just take this down to 1 EM. I used to remember what EM stands for. It's a unit of height used in typography, and I think it refers to the height of the capital letter M in the font face. I'm not absolutely certain though. That's a thing for Google or Copilot. Border dotted 1px, a gray. Background color is a slightly lighter gray. And the color of the link is a dark blue. That's fine. Save all that. Let's come back over here. That's better. I like that. That's much tidier. Let's go to blogging. Third blog post. Cool. Astro. Second blog post, learning in public. Oh, this is fun. I like this a lot. Yes. Post tags with changelog. Oh, that's fantastic. I like that a whole awful lot. I was skeptical, but yeah, that's good stuff. All right. Give me a hint. Give me another hint. Show me the hint. We verified that. Code check-in did it. Match each file path with the second file path that will create a page at the same route. I'm not going to mess with this knowledge test stuff. Checklist. I can use the routing feature. Tomorrow, because I do need to bounce and go do other stuff, we will be adding an RSS feed, which, again, super handy for search engine optimization. People can subscribe to the RSS feed, all of that good stuff. I'm not going to read ahead, I promise. We're not going to do it, but we'll pick that up tomorrow. I am that developer dad, or you can call me Rob or whatever. I will answer to almost anything as long as we keep it nice. Be gentle with yourselves and laugh at your mistakes. Fix them, learn from them, and then your failures become wins. And be kind to each other. Take care.